We just heard the BG&E representative say they have right of way to the entire transmission corridor. They have asserted to you and the Maryland Public Service Commission that they possess the right of way throughout this corridor right now. We in our Kingsville group opposing this transmission line structure at this point have identified title owners who only have one deed from 1930 that permits the building of an electrical transmission line. He just asserted that there will be 2 transmission lines. Therefore, if the title search proves that the BG&E does not actually have the right of way in that property, the entire project will shut down until such time as either they renegotiate with that property owner or somehow otherwise proceed at additional cost. So this project runs the risk of spending more money on the continuing development of this project right now, when in fact there are reasonable beliefs that titles that belong to owners of property underneath this transmission line may prove that BGE does not, in fact, have the corridor they've asserted to you. And that the cost that would result from the additional expenditures between now and that time will be even added even on to the costs that result from what a lot of residents in Baltimore County in our area refer to as extortionary tactics with the RMR payments beginning in 2028. People in Baltimore County, landowners in Baltimore County with proper titles and legal contracts with the BGE are entitled to their day in court as American citizens, contract law, and other things. So I kind of jumped ahead of my prepared remarks, and I don't know how much longer I have, but I would like to say that my wife and I live on Jerusalem Road in Kingsville, where we operate a 9.5-acre horse boarding farm, which is zoned RC5, between Jerusalem Road and the Gunpowder State Park. When we moved from Baltimore City in 1899, the farm had a 3-wire transmission line with 1 lattice-style tower on a site with 150-foot and 2 deed amendments with BG&E. We have 2 deed amendments. As registered Democrats, we may not always agree with the majority of our residents and elected representatives in our area on all issues, but I have greatly appreciated being able, as part of a neighborhood group, to discuss with Councilman Marks the proposed Brandon Shores retirement mitigation project. I'll refer to that now as Brandon Shores. I was going to say BS, but I decided not to. His participation with us was particularly important because the Brandon Shores project is a one-and-done project that is implemented. Once it is implemented, it can never be undone. The Brandon Shore project would expand the energy corridor in Baltimore and Harford counties, which will be, if not already, the equivalent of I-95 energy transmission, and will create a forever energy wasteland within our counties. I shall identify 3 issues of concern today, but will only address the first one in detail. I want to urge Council passage of the amended resolution so that all property owners with right-of-way agreements with BG&E may have an opportunity to exercise due process to examine their deeds and verify that BG&E truly does maintain the right-of-way that they assert that they have, and that forms the legal foundation per the transmission line expansion from 1 to the 2 lines. I urge the County Council to recognize and protect the unique rural and historic legacy in the valley between the gunpowders, where there are even fewer fire hydrants than Democrats. I'd like to urge council members and the county executive to consider key aspects of the Brandon Shores impact on all county residents and county resources and costs, recognizing the unretractable decision that approval will mean for the 100+ year lifetime proposed in the additional 12-line transmissions. It's already been 95 years since the first line was constructed. So this is once, I understand short-term higher expenses because of delays, because of penalties, et cetera. That's pushing everybody to make decisions right now. But this is a lifetime, eternal decision that you're faced with, or the PSC is faced with. But the additional issues that face all of our county residents are the wildfire prevention and costs under catastrophic scenarios. If you think about the 100-year window for that, and the overhead transmission lines carrying twice as much as what they carry right now, drier climates will likely, it can easily be imagined to resemble Los Angeles and Paradise fires in the not too very distant future, especially given the maintenance that's performed poorly in the Gunpowder State Falls Park and the total absence of fire roads. Second, public health effects on residents of the electromagnetic field emissions, both within the easement areas and well beyond the ROW. I have with me somewhere this little machine. I can tell you right now what we're experiencing with, we're at 0.05 right now of EMF transmissions. If you walk under the power line at my house, this is 0.05 in this room. If you were to walk under the power line at my house, that number is 11, it could be 11 to 15. This little thing starts beeping at 0.04. I mean 0.4. This got green, yellow, and red. I don't know what it means when it beeps red, but I left it next to my bedside the other night before I went to bed, and it was beeping all night long. I was thinking maybe people should sue for the BTD for the health effects problem, potential effects of cancer or leukemia on children. But I'm thinking of, sorry.
Mr. Clark, you're going to have to summarize because you're at about 7 minutes now.
God, sorry about that. But I'm thinking I should be suing for sleep deprivation. That thing was lit up and beeping all night long right next to my room. The third issue beyond public health, and I think is the most critical one, is that there's an impact of this power line on public safety that I don't believe has been appreciated and addressed, either in their proposal, which, and this is a comment I'll be making at the PSC, in their proposal, I think where there should be particular concerns about the construction of a Batavia Farm Road location, substation at the Batavia Farm location in Rosedale. Knowing in Baltimore County, we experienced terrorist planning for domestic terrorist attacks in October of 2022. Where a Catonsville resident conspired with a person from Florida to attack substations in Perry Hall, White Marsh, and several other locations in Baltimore and Harford counties. This is not a scenario that we have to imagine for over 100 years in the future. This is a scenario that's already occurred in this county. So if you think about the location, Batavia Road substation, it's adjacent to the main line of the Amtrak train lines in Mark, as well as freight goes through that area. It's within 500 feet of I-695, the Baltimore Beltway, and within probably a half a mile or quarter mile from I-95. So such an attack occur on a constructed Batavia substation with such things as were envisioned by the perpetrators who were now sentenced to serving 20 years in prison. Such attacks being used by Mylar balloons and guns. These are not weapons that are hard to find. It's not hard to imagine people who might perpetrate further destruction like this.